episode of Humor Syndrome, I remind Brad what it feels like to be next to me!
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You're too far away, Isla. You dodged it.
I dodged it. You were peeking that mic so hard, probably.
Hello, everyone. We are back in the studio. It is time. And what better way to have the first Humor Syndrome than with Elden Ring hot off the presses? Yes. Now, right out of the gate, first question I have is, after 2 years of a drought of this radio silence and self-flagellating hype,
Yeah.
did it live up to those enormous expectations?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So no disappointment.
No.
Whatsoever.
No.
Did it move the needle at all? Were you both at a 10? You're still at a 10?
When it's from soft, I'm always at a 10.
I started at 10, and now
Yep.
I'm at like a 48.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes. Takeaways here. Open world.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, open worlds risk giving you too much freedom and you lose focus, you know, especially with narrative games. And the amount of interiors they showed in this trailer wiped those fears clean.
Oh, yeah.
Wiped them away.
Oh, yeah.
What did you guys think of the presentation overall, the trailer, and just kind of the open world Souls we're getting now?
I kind of want to talk about the open world. I think, so like you said about this worry of losing that From Software level design that we all love, that focus. I think that's still going to be there, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think you're just going to be in this big area restart, and I'm hoping, don't know if it's true, you'll be able to go anywhere you want, kind of in any order. Like, you're in this world, here's all this shit you could see around the world. Yeah. Kind of go out and do your own thing. You get there, then it gets real tight, real narrow, going down some dark stairs, man. You get all that crazy shit in there. Yeah. Just when you're out in the world, it feels like big, because like now you got the mount. Yeah. And I think that's one of the smartest additions to this game to make it stand out. Because everyone's like, oh, their games are all the same. You know, they're all dark fantasy third person. It's like, no. Different. This mount is changing the gameplay huge right away. 2 things. Yeah. See the mounted combat. You ride on the horse. You cut that fucker right down. Number 2, boss fight where you're on this mount thing. You're fighting that fucking dragon with that lightning bolt. He grabs the lightning bolt, throws that shit down. Dude. You're on your mount. You jump. Not only do you jump, you fucking double jump on that mount, baby. We're talking sick. Mount upgrades potentially.
Yes. Oh my god, I didn't even think about upgrading it as you go.
Isla, I don't know where you really stand with open worlds. I know Breath of the Wild is one of your favorite games.
I like the good ones.
Yeah. What are your thoughts going into?
Well, I mentioned this during our initial reactions, but like the term I had heard applied to, or the theory was open field. Nice. Which I hadn't heard until like maybe last year or 2 years ago, but I really like the idea of it. And I mean, it's basically Zelda 1, right? Where it's like you can go anywhere you want, but then they branch off into the more focused dungeons, right? So it's like that makes perfect sense for this. Who knows if that's what this is, but it makes perfect sense. And I think in that way, you know, it's the same as it's Dark Souls, it's all the other ones. Except Firelink Shrine Hub is just massive.
Yeah.
You know?
And you have a horse.
And you have a horse. But the thing I'm curious about is like, okay, if you can go anywhere, is it going to be like Dark Souls where you go into one area and you're like, okay, this is way too hard for me? Or will it have level scaling? I doubt that. What I think probably will happen is like new enemies will come out that like start to follow you. Yeah. And you were talking about before we shot this, if like, how are they going to, like, getting from point A to point B in this open middle field is going to be pretty hard. And I figure the way they'll do that is the enemies are probably fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed one on a horse and
running down your mounts.
They
and
probably
stuff.
chase you, and they're fast.
I think of the Dark Souls 2 Pursuer. Some kind of pursuer enemies. What has me so excited, obviously, I think everyone agrees, the exploration.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think of the lack of direction in Souls games and how exciting that is for exploration. Because I think of traditional open worlds, and so often they fall into checklists, you know? You're systematically going through a region, usually following waypoints to get to places, and just the idea of the threatening nature of a Souls game while also just like stumbling into a cave and discovering something or discovering hidden bosses. Like that is my most hyped.
You just made me is this game going to have waypoints? Is this game going to have a map?
I don't think so.
Don't know.
Is it going to have a map?
I don't know.
No.
Like what if you were talking about the open hub. What if it starts out smaller and then kind of like you were saying, like maybe when you clear areas, like a phase 2 opens up and then all of a sudden it expands the map.
That could happen.
Weird.
So it's like kind of level gating in a way.
Well, what you could see from the trailer that like it looks like the landmarks are tall. They're castles, they're mountains, they're whatever. So maybe like you can just kind of get your bearings from like a high point and be like, okay, I got to go over there. Like I don't want waypoints.
Definitely not. Please no. Please no. I don't think they'll be there.
I don't think they'll be there either.
99.99% chance no.
I don't think there was a HUD at all. There was no HUD in the trailer.
Well, they usually don't have HUDs on trailers.
Right.
A real good bet though is the map. Will
there be a map?
That's a good bet.
There could be a rough map like Sekiro, but it's not like super detailed. It's like a map of the region you're looking at.
I forgot I had that.
And Dark Souls 2 had a map in the basement of that house where it's like the flames or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a character in this that like is a cartographer or something.
I think there's a lot more of those RPG elements.
I think so too.
Than we know about so far.
Too.
Like I think this trailer they showed a lot, but I think there's so much more to this game than we know about.
Yeah.
So much more.
I really liked the torch shot. Dark Souls 2 vibes with the torch. Want to ask you, Bradley, about, obviously we didn't see like HUD gameplay, it was kind of cutting. What's your first impression with the combat?
So the combat looks like a mix of all of their games so far. So I noticed in one of the things wherever you're fighting, it looked like you broke their poise, kind of like how you could do it in some Bloodborne stuff, or some stuff like that where you put them in a vulnerable state. You could do like a visceral type attack on them. Jumping looks like a much more... Like, you could jump in a lot of past Souls games, but it was never, like, great. Yeah. He rarely did it. But it looks like it's more like Sekiro, kind of like jumping a lot more, maybe incorporating attacks much more often. And the sneaking. Sneaking.
Yeah.
Crouching around.
So that'd be cool if you could pick off a few guys. Like, I think about like the build variety that you could do. Maybe like a stealth build could be a much more engaging than it has been in the past.
Good call.
Yeah.
Like,
I hadn't even thought about that.
Because like when I think about old Souls games, I'm like, okay, yeah, melee and like a magic build or something like that. But if I could be like, oh, now there's like a stealth build that really revolves around that more.
Can you imagine if you make like a thief character who's specced out completely for
backstabs?
But
what if you went all in on the horse?
Or the horse.
And you're just like the mounted death machine.
Beastmaster, dude.
Yes. And it like makes me wonder about other mounts too and stuff like that.
Because that'd be cool if they made that special. If like you had to kind of spec it.
Yeah.
I'm so interested in the idea of like a boss out in like a huge area that maybe you'll just stumble upon, like out in a big field. Like that's what that dragon looked like. It looked like in a huge space kind of thing.
Like, what if that's the pursuer? Just some dragon on your ass the
something
whole time.
like that. Yeah, you could just go out and find like a random guy that's not behind like a fog door.
I mean,
or something.
You mentioned Breath of the Wild earlier, but I think that's a good analog for some of this stuff because like. Sometimes you'll be in Breath of the Wild, and then you'll come up, into an old ruin, and there's a Lionel in there. I could see that happening constantly in this, where you just like, because like, an open world almost never just means like big dumb field always, right? Like you've got areas, and you've got roads, and you've got towns. Maybe like are there towns in this? Like, so there's gonna be things dotted all over the place, hopefully. And I mean, like, with FromSoft's past track record of like. Meticulous world design and lore and stuff. I honestly am very excited for, because Breath of the Wild for me was one of the best open world games for this, where like your curiosity was always rewarded, even by something totally just like a cool little statue that doesn't do anything, but it's just neat. Like I think that this game's gonna be dripping with this. It's gonna be nuts,
dude. Just some like graveyards, whatever, some ancient tree, like
some weird freakazoid who says a thing and then laughs, and you're like, "What are you talking about?"
Isla, we saw a lot of creatures in this trailer.
The little pot guy.
Yeah,
what is your initial take on some of this creature design?
I
in
love
Elden Ring?
it. from the initial trailer and now it's solidified even more in this, there seems to be some kind of element in this of like body modification or like adding things to your body. Like everybody's got like an extra arm. That cool looking woman with the red hair is like clicking an arm on and then she stabs you.
Dude,
that big thing with the axe and the like
legs
crazy
and arms
arm
maybe
and like
coming out.
some of them look like mechanical coming off of it. Some of them look like human arms. Like it's just like, what is going on in this world?
Yeah.
And you're the tarnished, and like there's the like golden is like the great deity or something. It's just like there's so much going on with like metal and like bodies, and it's just so
like
cool.
Fantasy, metal, and
but the thing I like about the creature designs in this from the trailer is like the other Souls games in Bloodborne, they have a very cohesive kind of idea, right? And this one, it feels cohesive still, but it seems like it's branching out way more. Like you have the weird, cute little jar guy. You have that weird, giant hand.
Yeah, the
you
hand
like,
spider.
Weird
tooth.
face with a big eye in it. It's just like, what? You're doing anything you want.
Don't
like,
look at me.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like that's where you would get to if you can make these crazy like homunculi or whatever, where you could just like body mod things and like add to a body and keep growing, and like you get a giant hand or something. Like,
Brad, speaking about these creatures, Isla, you brought up a great point. How they look like they're just so different.
Deformed.
Brad, I want to throw the lore question to you.
Okay.
Elden Ring shattering like different things, maybe like
parts
different,
of it.
not dimensions, but like different places of time or something.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this means. The only thing I think is about all these like limbs. Limbs have clearly been like a thing with this game. They've shown emphasized a lot. I wonder if it's like some sort of method that they tried to get closer to that like this godly state, whatever they want to get to. I don't know. Just fucking like my mind is filled with fucking theories and possibilities that could be happening. And I just don't know. Yeah, and it's very exciting.
I think you're totally onto something though, Brad. Like
it's straight
up.
I don't know.
That feels very them. Like all of their games stem on like some mistake that was made when someone was yearning for greatness, or yearning for godlyhood.
Yeah.
Like it's the blood, it's the giants, it's whatever. And I bet that like the god in this has a bunch of arms or something, and everyone's just like, we got to do it.
Yeah.
Man.
Any other final thoughts? That was just a brief 3-minute trailer packed with stuff, but that's all we get.
Two things. Okay, so the Souls in all these games, their narratives, they've been strong, but they're kind of hard to figure out. You got to really dig for a lot of it. It's not super upfront a lot of the time. Some of it is, but not a lot of it. With George R. R. Martin on this, I wonder if there will be a lot more direct kind of narratives coming on. Maybe more narrative than we're used to, especially because it's going. I'm just getting a feeling from this game it might be more RPG than we know.
Yeah. And I'm talking about NPCs.
Yeah,
maybe?
more like that's not new, but maybe just more of it than I expected. And the second thing is, I noticed the ocean and like some of the shots. Yeah. I'm like, we're in an open world. Are we gonna go fucking underwater or something like that?
Whoa,
maybe an underwater
swimming
area,
in a
something like
Souls
that.
game?
I don't know.
Oh, well, if there are buildings under there,
There will be ruins under there. You know
Yeah.
it. You know it.
I don't know if you're gonna be swimming necessarily, but it'd be cool to go underwater.
Oh, the press release said a day and night cycle.
Yes, and weather.
That's
weather.
Cool.
I'm
That I did
so
not know.
hyped.
I didn't know about that.
Yes.
I'm so hyped to just be like on a horse in a FromSoft game and it starts raining.
Well, a day and night cycle. Wow.
Yeah.
The
Well, and you know
rain
monsters are
kicks
going to be
in.
harder at night.
Oh
or
my
something,
God,
like,
yes!
For sure. For sure, but like more rewards. Like
Dude.
you'll get more souls or something.
I want to get a fucking like Witcher contract, and it's like only comes out at night or something like that. That's what
Maybe
I'm
certain
talking about.
zones too,
Yeah.
like only appear at certain times, like they do. You know,
Yeah,
some
yeah,
hidden
yeah.
World
cavers.
Tendency, dude.
Yeah.
World Tendency's back.
Oh man.
Any other closing thoughts? That was Saint Keeley gifting
Yes.
us
Yeah.
the Elden Ring
Released
trailer.
from gamer prison.
He has been
Freed.
released. And dated, of course.
Dated.
Yeah.
Isla believed, therefore Isla gets paid.
Yeah, I got some cash. We're the two who bet on that.
I gave it my
Oh, you
last.
gave it 100.
My
That's
last
right.
His last
100.
100.
My last 100.
and I gave
Yep.
it 900.
I was like, yep.
Yep.
There you go.
January 1st.
No.
month.
January
Yeah.
First
January something.
January 22nd, I believe it was.
I think it was 21st.
Yeah.
Something like that. Close enough.
First month of next year.
Mm-hmm. Pretty close.
First game.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Any other? That it?
I'm
I
so
can't
excited.
Now it's just the waiting game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Hopefully, though, now that this is out there and in dated and everything, hopefully now they can release the Bloodborne remaster. Bloodborne.
Yes.
Yes. So that'll alleviate the wait till January big time.
That'd be nice.
Please help us. Please help us through the next 7 months.
Oh my god.
By letting Bloodborne run at 60 frames.
Oh my god.
Yes, that was Huber Syndrome. First time back in the studio. We will be back next week talking about something. It's E3. We'll be here. E3. Be excited.